either, but apparently I did.
Really?
Well, yeah. Not only did I go, but I apparently was going to be conducting a workshop there as well. I had someone catfish me. So, and I found out in the last minute. So, fortunately, everything was, remedied. But yeah, so that was
So
fun.
Giselle, let me recap for you. Basically, I know a bunch of people, and we have a wonderful person named Stan, who does all of the artwork for us, right?
Uh-huh.
And Stan noticed Nico is going to be at DomCom, and I'm like, I talk to Nico every day. She didn't say
Right.
anything about DomCom. That's odd. So what I do
Holding out.
So what I do is I tell Nico this, and Nico basically says, "No, no, what the fuck? I'm not done this," you know. And yeah, it
Yeah.
turned out that someone totally pretended to be Nicco Noire and got classes and sold out the class. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't thrilled with it.
No, on one hand, though, you sold out the class.
Well, that is exciting. But on the other hand, I'm like I'm screwing over my friends. I'm screwing over other people who are spending money, and it's not me, but it's my name that is. And so I was a lot,
And
kind of mortified and
there's so much to having a name, really with any industry, but here you are with this, this reputation.
right,
I'm always telling people that my reputation, it's, if I have nothing but my reputation, it's so, important to maintain that and to have it.
right,
So, it's one reason I'm really particular about recommending people, because
right.
my reputation is attached to you,
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
one thing I wanted to address, and I think that both of you can help me out here. I was at Dungeon. Yeah, I was at Mischief Manor, and I was, things happen. Safety is always an issue. Luckily, no one's hurt. Everything's fine. We're cool. Everything is set up. But like, we have to be prepared. You gotta be
Well,
prepared.
for
So
what? What was the
for
situation?
anything. So for anything, some people
Well,
are older, like something
mm,
like that. Could be a food allergy, could be heat, could be a heart. It's very hot out, right? There could be a heart problem, seizure. I had
sure.
a liver transplant. I I fell out in a supermarket and had to be taken away in an ambulance one day. You never know what can happen, so we have to be
Right.
prepared. And as
Sure.
Nico, as a dominatrix, you have people. So what I want to do, you have a kit, don't you? A safety kit,
One hundred
kind of med.
percent.
Yeah. So I want to build a safety kit because I'm a kinky person and I need your help, right? So Giselle and Nico, I need. So what should every kinky person have? Let's make a kinky survival kit for every kinky person should have. We already have something for bruising. Giselle says
Oh,
there's something for bruising specifically. What is that?
Arnicare.
Um, arnica ointment, arnicare. If you want to go the all natural route, you can do pure arnica oil. But that's going to help bruising. And it's an ointment you put it on. It's good for almost all skin types.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone that it's had a
Oh,
bad
me too.
effect with yet. So, yeah, that's the best answer. She's right.
Yeah, I couldn't
And then
think
we
of it.
have
I'm like,
gauze.
I have the box upstairs. I
Yeah,
went and grabbed the box.
yeah. No, that's the right answer. And also have cold packs in the freezer at all times. Also warm packs, which like the instant warm packs. Sometimes a lot of times people will come up out of a subspace or drop really quickly, and they will get the shivers, they'll get the chills. So blankets,
Like
you know.
cornstarch will stop bleeding. I saw the statement of bleeding. Cornstarch will stop bleeding.
Yep,
So
cornstarch will definitely stop bleeding.
yeah.
I definitely have, I have a small suture kit. I have instant like liquid Band-Aid. I always have alcohol. I always have peroxide. I always have witch hazel. I always have, all of the regular kind of first aid,
I think
101 basics.
I think a thing that isn't often discussed with first aid kits in general is, one, to check it and keep it up to date, but two,
Yes.
to make sure that you're familiar with everything in there and you know how to use it. Because it's one thing to say, I've got scissors. It's another thing to know how to use the scissors and when to use them.
100%. And all,
They don't know.
I agree with that. That's 100% correct. And also be sure that it's latex free.
That's we're saying, no latex. Although
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when it comes down to saving someone's life, you save a life, and then you worry about the allergy. But
Absolutely.
what you should
Keep some Benadryl in there.
yes, what you should have also, which I always kept in my car until I got rid of that car, and I think my little thing went with it, is a little face mask for doing CPR. And in all honesty, everyone should look at taking a CPR class. CPR saves
Right.
lives, and it doesn't just save human lives; it saves animal lives as well. And that little
Absolutely.
mask, what it does is you put it on the person, and when you're administering CPR, if they vomit, it keeps them from vomiting in your mouth.
Right.
But you will not die if someone vomits in your mouth. You will not be happy.
No, no. And the thing is you never know what can be passed between people. It's a safety issue. It's and if you are going to do this in any sort of professional sense whatsoever, absolutely go and take some CPR classes, take some medical training classes. If you plan on sticking people with needles and, cutting people open, because, sometimes I do.
Well, the blood not so much.
Blood pressure and stethoscope. That's a good. So
The-
there was an incident. There was an incident where someone fainted. Right? One of the parties that I was at. And we noticed that we had a blood pressure called. That was really it. So that made us up the kit. So
Right.
blood pressure and stethoscope. Although you seem like they're
I
not
would
needed,
say-
they're very helpful. They're
Yes.
very, very helpful. There's a reason why you're in the emergency room. They put blood pressure and a stethoscope on you. So
Right.
I would
don't
say
knock
no
that.
on the.
I'm
or
not saying
as
YouTube. I'm saying in
much.
general.
I was gonna say the reason I would say not as much on the stethoscope is that unless you know exactly how to use it, it's going to be useless to you. And most people, it's a great piece of equipment to have, but a lot of people don't really know what they're listening for. They don't know how to listen for blood pressure. So,
Right.
and it's a sound. You have to know how to actually hear and listen for blood pressure. And if you don't know that, it's such a general thing. So I would say maybe the blood pressure, yes, but the stethoscope is kind of iffy, because unless you
Right.
are a nurse or something, you probably aren't going to know.
That's fun aesthetically, unless you actually know what you're doing. But otherwise, I think a cuff is gonna be your kind of be all end all of figuring that out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Obviously,
we have
have a phone, a working phone.
Yes.
Because
Oh, and scissors. Always have scissors. If you're playing with rope, have scissors.
Even if you're not playing with rope, have scissors. You may have to
Right.
cut someone out of their clothes. But I was going
Well,
to say
amen
really
to
quick
that.
on that vomiting thing. The reason why I was mentioning that mask is my mother was a nurse, and
Okay.
I remember she saved someone with CPR, and that person, they vomited into her mouth. And of course, I was young, and I asked her about it, and I said, "Oh my God," because I was grossed out. And she just
Right.
looked at, said, "Were you, how'd you handle it?" And she just looked at me and she said, "All I know is I saved a life." My
Well,
job,
that's amazing.
And so I always think about that. I mean, I'm a bit of a germaphobe in that regard, so I'd be like, "No, I gotta have my mask." But
Right. Well, I think in the moment, in that situation where it's either, it's a life or death situation, I think just about anybody, you're going to, do anything that you have to do to ensure that person, that you are at least doing everything you can to try to make that person live, come hell or high water, vomit or not, you know what I mean?
another thing,
So,
familiarize yourself with the symptoms of things like heat exhaustion. familiar, or jaundice. A lot of people don't know what jaundice looks like or what it is. Go and familiarize yourself. If your person is suddenly turning piss yellow, that's not healthy. Call them a doctor.
Right. If someone's color drops out of them, if someone's lips go blue, if their limbs go blue, fingers, toes, nipples, you know, balls, whatever. If it starts turning colors that are abnormal, like oddly abnormal, we need, you know, you need to remedy whatever is happening there. There's so much. There's so much.
Yeah. It's not found in nature. Those
right.
are really blue. Yeah.
Right. That's not off of a berry bush.
So we have, so far, we have something for bruising, Aquaphor, Arnica, gauze, alcohol / witch hazel / peroxide. If you're going to choose between alcohol, witch hazel, and peroxide. Alcohol.
Peroxide. But only because peroxide doesn't burn and I'm a big pussy.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm against burns these days. I'm all against it.
I'm gonna go with
yes. Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get it. Definitely gonna get into that. But scissors, cold packs, blankets, and cornstarch.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cornstarch. Okay. Is cornstarch staying on the list?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
Keep cornstarch on there. No, it's something that in a bind, it will stop. You know, not massive bleeding, but you know, bleeding.
And okay, how about blood pressure and stethoscope?
The stethoscope not so much, but the cuff 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Or what about thermometer?
A thermometer's always helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, they have those the ones where you can just point it onto a head. You don't even have to go into an orifice with them anymore.
Now.
Right.
All right. We have the BDSM safety kit. What if there's not an emergency and you want to be kinky with it? Stan here loves medical play.
I would say have something separate because you always want to.
That means you have to have two.
Do not want to use the
things
that are going to save a life and use them up and go, oh gosh, I need gauze. Damn it, I used it in my last session.
Well, so okay, hold on. Giselle, keep talking. I'm going to show that. I'm going to explain this here.
Yeah, I think you should always have, there's a working kit and you can always put together something for play. And if you're going to use stuff for play, have it, a separate thing, because the last thing in the world you want is to not be able to get to something that you need for an emergency because you used it on someone.
So what was a time where you needed, do you have a story or an anecdote of a time where you're like, oh, I needed the scissors or I needed cornstarch?
Well, my need for cornstarch usually has not been per se a kink related thing. But I found out about the cornstarch and how it stops bleeding, honestly, because vets use it all the time. And groomers use it. Dog groomers, when they cut nails and they cut like a pet's nails, it stops the bleeding, which I hadn't realized. Something that probably should be on that kit, oddly enough, would be at least a menstrual pad and a tampon. Definitely a tampon.
A menstrual pad and a tampon.
If you ever have a nosebleed, that tampon's going to come in handy.
I don't know how many times I've sent someone home with a pad in their shorts, or panties or whatever it may be, because for whatever reason I wouldn't let them clean up before they left or whatever. But I do have the decency to not put a big giant lube stain on the back of their clothing. So yeah, but I wanted them to have grease ass for the rest of the day because they deserve that.
Yeah,
it's funny. You know how it says pads? It says pads. I put pads up there. I wrote tampons just because you're talking about tampons, and it said that it wouldn't allow it. See, it's the patriarchy suppressing womanhood. That's what that is.
Just one more thing they won't let you put in your vagina.
Yeah, right.
oddly
A
enough,
roll of Stan
the
Vladimir
baby
says
there,
a pack of cotton and a roll of bandages.
Yep.
like I said, if you have a tampon, you don't necessarily need that pack of condom of cotton.
So in here, this is my basic little whatever kit. This is like my actual emergency kit. My play kit is a little different. And it's definitely got more stuff going on in it. A little bit different stuff, but stuff nonetheless. So.
Yeah. So, it's been a while since you two talked, right? And Nicco, please tell Giselle what happened, especially since we're talking about safety and the safety kit. What did you do? Like, if you burned yourself, take us through what happened, and also how did you?
I burned myself really bad. I was making candles, and I thought that I had turned the knob off because it stays on kind of a high heat, but instead of turning it off, I actually turned it on high, and so it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was ready to go to bed, and instead of being a smart, safe person and looking to make sure it was cool, I just assumed that it had been off for hours, and I just picked it up and I took off all of my skin all the way around, like 70% of my arm. This is like the first day I've actually been able to not have it wrapped, and it is just, so raw, so tender, and this is gonna be as good as it gets. This is what I'm dealing with for at least probably the next 6 months until it decides to do whatever it's gonna do. So, and I have vitiligo, so I'm like, I don't know why I'm stressing out about it, because I'm like, this is gonna trigger, or not trigger, but my skin already doesn't want to repigment itself, so this, I guess the reason I'm so fucked off about it is because this is going to be like my largest vitiligo patch once it heals, and I don't know why I fucking care so much, because I've already accepted the fact that this is like part of my life, but I just hate that anyway. So that's what's going on.
I understand that. I had a knee replacement, and
oh my god, did you really?
Yeah.
Fuck, how was that?
Well,
did they have you up and walking like the same day?
Yes and no. They did it, and then they go, well, we need you to go pee, which is normal. And I was waiting for the dozens of slave boys to carry me to the bathroom.
Of course.
And the nurse goes, oh no, it's load bearing. You can stand on it. And I looked at her like,
oh no.
You can stand up, but you know what? You want to stand on it then, because the drugs are kicked in, so you don't feel anything, but you can stand on it, and they get you walking as soon as possible, and they get you taking stairs as soon as possible. And as sucky as it is, because it is a very painful recovery, you want to do it. One of the things I did before I did that was I watched a really good interview with Judith Dench talking about her knee replacement. And she said, they're going to make you take stairs, and they're going to make you walk. And she says, and you're going to do it. And she goes, well, you don't have to do it, but you'll do it if you want to walk again.
Do you know what's crazy? I've known, you're like the third person in as many months that I've known who have had a knee replacement or a hip replacement who are I feel like, I have no problem just saying, I'm in my mid 40s. But I just cannot fathom, why are we so young and having these things replaced? And I guess the reason is people are at these desk jobs where they just they don't have the mobility that they should be having, or which makes me think well, then why the fuck do they need a knee replacement, or why the fuck do they need a hip replacement? And it's something to do with the joints eroding, or the bones getting fucked off, or anyhow,
Always
craziness to me.
Of not moving, because I was a dancer, and I
Me
tell people
too.
about a dancer. I did the big jumps that the men do. So yeah, and when I was talking to my original my original doctor, he
Uh,
says, "Did you ever feel pop in your knee? Did it ever just like pop?" And I said, "Oh yeah." He goes,
right.
"Yeah." He says, "That's the first sign." What's
Oh,
weird now
Jesus.
is I can look at people now and I watch them
Right.
and I watch how they walk, and I can sit back and go, "That's a knee replacement. That's a knee replacement. That's a knee replacement," because we don't really pay attention to how we walk. And the
Right.
first time you have that pop, and it's like a ticking time bomb. I was down to bone on bone. If you asked me
Oh,
what I would have preferred, a knee or a hip, I would have taken a hip.
Whew.
People who have both will say, "I'll take a hip at any time. It's an easier recovery." You know, I mean,
I don't see.
been released
I
yet.
just don't know. I can't. Oh, I don't see
You know,
how any of it is an easy recovery. Like, I mean, any just when you say replacement, you already have me fucked all the way off. I'm like,
that's the
no,
thing. You
no,
understand what I mean by when I say replacement. And the problem is that the way we deal with knee replacement and hip replacement is because we see the skin covering the device. We do not
Right.
understand that it is an amputation. So I'm always
Right.
explaining that to people, that one of the things I did when I sat down and talked to the doctor, my surgeon, is I said, "I want to hold it. I want to see it." And he handed me a joint and he said, "This is what's going in you. It adds 3 pounds to your body." People don't understand.
Wow.
And I had to, in order for me, because some people, they don't want to have this idea, and they kind of sugarcoat it. In order for
Sure.
me to do the surgery, I had to see the surgery and see how bad it was going to be. I wanted to
Yeah.
see everything. I wanted to see the blood. I wanted to see the gore. Not because I wanted to fetishize it, but because I wanted to know.
You wanted to know what was going to happen to your body.
Yes.
I
Yes.
understand. I
And
understand.
yeah, you go and you watch that surgery. Do it like if I advise people, if you're doing it, do it once, and do
Yeah.
it maybe like after, because doing it before, it terrifies you. And you're like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
What about
Yeah.
when I was going get the my transplant? Even before
Mhm.
then, someone stuck a needle in me or something like that. I didn't look away. I looked right at it. I
Right.
wanted to know. I wanted to see the ultrasound when they were doing like a paracentesis. I wanted to see it. I wanted to. Oh, I was someone who like dove right in. I wanted my liver. Literally, I was mad that they didn't give me my old liver. I wanted to like keep it and hold it. It's mine. I want it. It's not
I have
theirs.
my
It's
knee.
mine.
Listen,
I got
I want to hold your liver, and I want to hold your knee. The second I have to see mine, fucking forget about it. I am dead in the water on the floor. I am done ski. I had to be put out to have my wisdom teeth pulled out. I am the biggest fuck. First of all, this is what's funny. I dish shit out that I can't even like fathom. And I'm sitting here like I'm a big giant puss. And I've never dealt anything out that I haven't experienced firsthand. Thank God I don't have an actual cock. But outside of that, like, I mean, I've sounded myself. If I'm going to do it, I want to know what I'm doing to someone, because I'm,
That's the one I've
I
not. I've not myself.
it is,
Oh, wait.
it's,
Back up.
yep.
Back up a second. Take us to that place. Where were you where you first sounded yourself?
Well, okay, so I had just finished a session where I didn't have a sound big enough to accommodate a client. I mean, and so I was literally, I was double gloved, and I'm like, finger fucking his cock basically. And the thing of it is that's all good and well, but I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what is that sensation? Because I know, I have very few sensations that I can think of that are specifically like my urethra, and one of them are when you have the pee tingles, and the other one are when you're pissing razor blades from a UTI. So I'm like, is there like a happy medium? Is there a Cinderella, Goldilocks place there? And so I bought a set of female sounds and I sounded myself, and that's where I was at with it, because after that experience I just was like, what is this guy looking for? What is he seeking? But I don't have a prostate, so what he's seeking I will never find in my urethra. So I'm
Those
just
you don't know, how are female sounds different than male sounds?
Well, they're much smaller, first of all. I mean, much finer, and they're shaped slightly differently because they actually have to go into a tube that is actually directly underneath the clitoris. So they're very fine, and they narrow.
It's harder to see a woman than it is a man.
Oh yeah. I've only sounded myself and one other person though, and one other woman. And she just let me out of because she was just like, well, what the fuck is that about? She's like, well, do it. And I'm like, okay. So
we have a friend, shout out to we'll call him Ed Wood. He goes by Ed Wood. Great, fun guy. He always sounds himself. He's got this big thing and he just goes the matter, and he sits on the table and he's just talking, and he just takes it one after the other, and we could be talking about horror films, punk rock music, and he's just sitting there,
casually sounding himself,
and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and yeah,
fascinates me.
He just does it so. And here I during the liver transplant, I had to get a catheter.
Sure.
I had to get a catheter. I had to walk around with like a bag, a colostomy bag, stuff like that. That was the most painful fucking thing I've ever in my life. This guy's doing it for fun. Yeah. So it's,
I got a
to each his own. It's
that.
all perspective.
Not with the bigger one, so he would always sound himself. Oh yeah, do you need me to sound myself? I've got this. Like, okay,
Sunshine asks, Nicco, what did it feel like? So what does it feel like to sound yourself? It's a very good question.
Okay, so it did not hurt. It did not hurt at all. You have to have it really, really, really lubed up. It was not painful, but it was definitely it was breathtaking. Like literally, like but not in an orgasmic way. Just like a holy shit, what is going on? But all I can say to you, and I know this is not explaining anything to you, it was a undescribable sensation that I had never had before. I'm glad that I did it. That said, I have never sought it out again.
That's interesting. My personal, and I asked him what the sensation was, and again, that's a penis, not a female urethra. But I asked him what the sensation was, and he said it was a bit of a mind fuck, because at least for him, he said it felt like really pleasurable and somewhat painful, but not. So it was, kind of an interesting thought.
With that, I think that if it was something I did more, I think it's kind of like anal sex in the fact that like the first time you do it, it really hurts, and then kind of like by the third time you do it, you're like, hey, anal sex. So you know what I mean? So I kind of think it's the same situation. Like, I only did it that one time, but I think I could see that being something that would be, you could kind of build up to.
Now, since we're talking about safety and we're talking about sounding, why not throw some chastity into the mix too? There's chastity devices with sounds in them.
Yes.
Right? So if you're going to sound somebody, with or without chastity, I just threw that in as a joke, but if you're going to sound somebody, we're talking about safety. What do you have to be around? Safety, what do you want? Do you need gauze? Do you need alcohol? Yeah. What is you need? I mean, you need the safety
for
kit.
Sounding?
But what do you take out of the safety kit to make sure that you have that you're immediately hands reach for sounding?
Giselle, go ahead.
Oh, I'm like, yes, I always have gloves.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have a sterile lube because you
Yes.
do have to use a lot of lube. But at least for my personal, he's actually more sensitive to that. So I use a different type of lube with him. But yeah, a good sterile lube. I think for sounding, obviously you want clean sounds.
Yes.
Nobody just
100% sterile, autoclaved, like,
Yes. Yes, the autoclave exists because it kills, what is it, hepatitis, I believe it is.
It kills everything.
Yeah, but it exists solely for hepatitis because it is bulletproof, and you don't use somebody else's sounds ever.
Ever.
Another thing I always do with somebody when I'm done sounding them is I make them go and drink some good old-fashioned cranberry juice.
And have a pee.
Yes, pea and cranberry. And it's funny, and I think because we as women grow up almost, there's certain things we grow up with. We grow up with the idea that you look at something funny, you might get a UTI, pee a lot, and drink your cranberry juice. Men don't understand that, and they look at you and they're like, what? I don't feel thirsty. Go drink the cranberry juice and shut the fuck up. So I think that's another thing. But yeah, no, just I think it's standard sanitation, really.
Everything she just said.
Now, Nicco, do you have one of these?
I do.
You do? See, now, all right. I need your advice here.
Yes.
I just got one of these, and it's fun. It's great. Like, you put the loop on it, and you can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a whole lot of fun. So, how can you make this glove romantic?
You can't. You can't. It's a big black glove that you're going to shove in someone's pussy or asshole. There's nothing sexy about it. I'm going to fuck you. That's what you do with it.
My answer was buy flowers.
There you go. You buy flowers.
Buy flowers. Yeah.
Get a card. Light a candle.
So, when was the last time you used that glove?
Well, it feels like a million years ago because I haven't worked, but probably like 3 weeks ago.
And how did you use it?
I just told you.
No, but like...
I wasn't sweet about it. If that's what you want to know.
Yes, okay. So Stan Vladimir says, back in 2018, he had a gallbladder operation. He wants you to know that. And then when he goes to the dentist...
Did he get to keep it?
I didn't get to keep mine. They took my gallbladder, too. They didn't even ask.
Did you get to keep your liver?
They don't let
No, I didn't get to keep my liver. I said I wanted my liver. I wanted them to keep my liver. I got slides. Slides. I can see how horrible. Like a crime photo.
I wanted to watch my surgery, and they wouldn't let me.
Are you out of here? Well, that's because you're crazy. Do you know? Okay, so I used to be a chef. And so a million years ago in a past life, I used to be a chef. And I actually cut this finger off right here at the knuckle. All the way off. Clean off. That was very exciting. And when I did that, so it doesn't bend now. Doesn't go up. It doesn't do anything like that. But I forget where I was going with this. But yeah, that is a whole other situation of injury that I would not suggest anyone do. 0 out of 5 stars.
Well, it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week because we have the BDSM safety kit, and that includes things for bruising, arnica or aquaphor, gauze, alcohol, or peroxide, scissors, cold packs, blankets, cornstarch, blood pressure machine.
Maybe a candy bar if anyone's blood sugar drops.
Yeah.
a thermometer.
I know it sounds kind of a
bandages.
weird, like,
Oh yeah. No, that's
I always have, I'm fully stocked, man. I have candy all over my studio, which kind of sounds strange, but I've more times than you would know. I've, well, first of all, I like to throw Snickers at people and make them eat them off the floor. But then,
But you might also
and Nicco
have, like,
aloe. The latex cowboy's gotta put his 2 cents in.
I used to
Aloe,
say
yes, aloe.
something like either pickles or I want to
Pickles.
say Gatorade. Yeah, for electrolytes.
that's smart.
So when I'm camping in the desert, I know I look so rugged and outdoorsy, but when I'm
Come to
camping in the
Texas.
desert, you're there. I might.
I got a desert for you.
But when I'm camping in the desert, we always take pickles. We take a big, giant jar of pickles, just because you need that salt and
That's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, pickles.
Someone says, I'll take a jar of pickle, or they'll take a container of just the juice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I mean, I can get behind that, but okay.
Yeah. If they're drinking it outside, though, just on a regular, not in the desert kind of situation, I just wonder
Right.
if they're kind of trying to mask their drugs. But yeah, because they'll do that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
That's a sign of
I just come out and just be like, I smoke. It's fine. It's whatever.
So
It's medication.
we're gonna have the YKF. It's gonna be Giselle and Nicco, created by Giselle and Nicco, the YKF BDSM safety kit. And it's on sale for $900.99.
That's a hell of a handle. Yes, I like that price tag.
And we have to
you
use
might
it
also
in
want,
YKF coin.
an odd
I like it.
You might also want a couple of rubber bands in there.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, safety pins. That's
Safety
another thing.
pins.
Why don't we just get like a doctor and a nurse and a staff and a kind of
Yeah, can we just can we do that? Can we just have like an RN on staff, someone please?
Okay.
I know if I have a kinky friend, and I know I fucking do, who's in the medical field, just come and bitch in for me every other weekend, and that would be fine, thank you.
We're gonna end it with this.
Extra, you can put it in the kit. The extra deluxe
I like
kit.
it. I like it. For extra, you can put it in the kit.
Since we're all
I've got a nurse.
concerned about safety and all that, just imagine femdom hospital, right? Femdom hospital, right? The candy stripe nurses. They got candy stripe. Who I imagine a doctor, right? A doctor come in all like,
I think I got.
a doctor,
There we
asshole
are.
doctor, toxic male, right?
A
Tan.
doctor
I've got a Porsche,
Toxic
fucking
male.
right? Yeah.
Dr. Dickhead.
Yeah, right. Dr. Douche,
Dr.
Dr.
Pussy
Douche.
over there needs to talk to you, Dr. Asshole.
Yeah, Dr. Fuckface and
Fucking female doctors aren't having it. And they're like, no, this is my hospital now. This is
to
my
this
hospital now.
day,
What's it?
I still think okay, so let's all talk about Kill Bill for a second. And
Pussy.
the nurse, why can't I
Daryl Hannah. I can't remember.
Daryl Hannah, who is a goddess, by the way. She comes walking down that hall in her nurse shoes, and it scans up her legs, and it gets to her, and you see her, and she's got a patch on, and she's whistling, and I'm just like, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
You want to be
Ta-da!
you're gonna be a hit. We should become international assassins. Yeah, that's
Well,
how that's
I feel like I'm like, I'm not an assassin, but damn,
Mamba.
I'm killing them.
You are. You definitely are. Okay, to sum it up, everybody, Giselle, we have
She was
to
L
go.
driver.
Oh wait, Sunshine says Femdom Hospital. All women are above men. Yes, sissies are candy stripe nurses, right? and then they
Oh.
take over the doctors. You get the administration, right? So femdom hospital. What would happen next? Who would be? What kind of surgeries would you?
I would like to be the head of urology and proctology, please. I want to
Giselle's
be in
the head of
charge shoving
proctology
things into
and
people.
urology.
I'd like to be the head of femdom finances.
Yeah,
Yes.
you make you pay to get sick in here.
Right. You have insurance. I don't give a fuck.
We're in the urology department. I'm sorry, those are going to have to come off.
Love it.
You have testosterone poisoning. It shows. Those have to come off.
The Latex Cowboy says mangina reassignment.
Oh God,
Nico's
that is
very
where
good
I
at
would
that.
go.
That's
That
Nico's
would
best-
be that would be
Oh.
that would be my field of
Oh
expertise,
my
my
God,
medical
I just
expertise.
realized.
The
We have a
vagina
medical team
is-
here. Seriously, we have a
Specialist.
medical team here. Giselle castrates them, and Nicole and Nico makes them vaginas.
I
We
do.
could
I turn them
start
into
a whole
women.
clinic. We
We
could start the
can assembly
YKF
line it.
clinic.
You can assembly line it.
Did you hear that, Planned Parenthood?
Planned Parenthood. Yes.
Got your girls right here. We're down for the cause.
Ready.
Right.
Do that.
Right. We support abortions too because we have vaginas and uteruses.
Yes.
Just saying. Not that we support abortions, but we support women's health. That's what I'm meaning to
Yes.
say.
Abortion is.
But I do support abortions. I think that women should be allowed to have them if they want them.
Yes.
And I'm not
I don't-
speaking for anyone but myself when I say that. And that's how I feel.
I just
So
think
speaking
it's
of
nobody's
support, Giselle,
Amen to that,
how can
Giselle.
we support you? We're ending up the show. How can we support Giselle, Naughty Giselle?
business. Oh God. Well, how can you support me? Please go and find me on Peplove. I always will tout Peplove till the day I die. Please find and friend me on FetLife. And of course, follow and friend me on Instagram and X and all those wonderful places. Please do reach out. And of course, my email, themistressofnaughty@gmail.com. I always reply back. So please, please, please come and find me and support me in those places. It is definitely appreciated.
And of course, Nicco, the real Nicco Noire, not the one who is,
Not the
who
catfish.
catfish people.
Not the catfish. Fuck that catfish. But
So-
we'll find him. We'll smell him out.
How
That's
can-
fine.
How can people support you and check you out and just give you money and just lavish you?
Folks,
with
if
gifts
you
and
just
praise?
want to come and, support me and spoil me and, give me lots of stuff and things and stuff I love and like, go to NiccoNoire.com and there you will find all of my official links to all of my social media, my website, or my other website, which is Naughty Noire, and you can book a in real life session with me, online session, phone session, imaginary session. NiccoNoire.com. Come find me.
It's going to be a great week.
I think
Sunday.
so.
It's going to be a great week. Thank
It
you.
is.
Thank you, Giselle, and thank you, Nicco, for just bringing light into my life and to everyone else's. Both of you are magnificent. Oh God, I'm so happy to be just a part of your life. I'm happy that you're a
So
part
good
of
to-
mine.
Likewise.
It is so
And with
good.
that being said,
Yeah.
please support other kinky people. Support the artists. Support the artists. Without the artists, there'd be no art for you to jerk off to. So support us, basically. Support us.
Right.
Help a kinky person out. Go to yourkinkyfriends.com. Subscribe. 15% off. LockedInLust.com with offer code YKF. Yeah. Just, remember the cardinal rule. Be cool. Be kind. Keep an open mind. Take care. Have a great week.